Hello again, everybody. This is Dave from Box News and Exclusive Collectibles, and we're back for another box opening. This time we're going to be opening a vintage 1991 Upper Deck football box featuring this set is the Premier Football Edition for Upper Deck. This one is one of the first football boxes that features autographs. Obviously, Joe Montana autographs are sprinkled in these, but the chances of that are absolutely rare due to the mass production of the Upper Deck series in the early part of the 90s. So we're going to take a look at the box, look at the rookies. You know, the most notable, of course, is Brett Favre, Joe Montana inserts, as well as some football Hall of Famers that, you know, even though the box itself you can get for about between 10 and 20 bucks, you know, if you get high graded cards, make the box worthwhile for you. So hope you enjoy. All right, we're going to start the box opening, but you know, the only limitation of these is, you know what, the old Upper Deck foil packs were either really easy to open or really difficult to open. So, you know, just to give you an idea of how careful you have to open these, because if you could really damage the cards easily. You could really damage the cards easily if you're not careful. So, you know what? You know, we've got our trusty pair of scissors to open her up, so we don't mess up any of the cards. So you open it straight out of the bat, so the foil doesn't eat up the card. So, there you go. Greg Townsend. And the order of these are just outrageous. Curtis Duncan. You'll end up seeing multiples sometimes. Bert Grossman. New York Jets Al Toon. Collector's Choice cards. Those are very neat insert cards. Rod Woodson, Team MVP. Fred Strickland. William Frizzle. Keith Van Horn. Jimmy Jones. Ricky Prohl, Ray Childress, and Flash 80. That is a neat card from Jerry Rice. That is a neat card. So there you go, pack one, and we're going to keep it going. Moving right along. Another thing notable is, you know, I mentioned it earlier, but these were mass produced to all get out. But you can still find some nice cards in here. Game Breakers hologram. Right out of the gate. Gotta be very careful with these cards. Marion Butts hologram. Only problem with Upper Deck is the corners damage really easy in the early years. Ernest Biner. Aerial threats with Randall Cunningham. Aerial threats with Steve DeBerg and Stephon Page. Two same inserts close to each other. Frank Cornish, Steve Broussard, Kevin Ross, Vince Buck, Tom Newberry, Ernest Givens, Steve Wazinski, and Gary Anderson. Then next up, you know, hopefully we get some Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Brett Favre, Andre Rison. There's plenty of Hall of Famers in here. Keith Jackson. Just, you know, there's so many cards in here, it's hard to find. Eric Metcalf, Pat Beach, Clyde Simmons, Tim McDonald, Ron Morris, Chris Dishman, MVP John Stevens, Fred Marion, I believe Hall of Famer, Eddie Murray, and Team MVP checklist. So, moving right along. No real hits out of that one. Feel like you gotta operate on these packs so you don't damage any of the cards in them. There's like a Joe Montana insert right on the top. Football Heroes. Jesus. These are not fun to open. Joe Montana non-auto. Sterling Sharp, Hall of Famer. Michael Coffer. Mark Carrier. That's a good card. Da Bears. Dermonte Dawson. Da Bears. David Fetcher. Jeff Bryant. Wayne Haddock's Team MVP. Randall Cunningham Collector's Choice. Ernest Biner. Bruce Matthews. And finally, Lewis Sharp out of that one. Moving right along. Looking for Favres. Looking for Bears. Looking for anything of, you know, collector, you know, something for the collection. You know, it's Bert Grossman. Aerial threats with Montana and Rice. Star rookie card with Randall Hill. No Favre. Mike Creel. Star rookie card. Pete Holohan. Mark Clayton. Upper Deck Checklist. Tony Mandarich. Jim Richter. Jerome Brown. Rick Freeney. And Chet Brooks. And the next one. Val Sikahoma. Barry Ward. Star rookie Greg Lewis. Chris Zorich, star rookie card. That's a good one. Da Bears. Christian Okoye, rest in peace. Believe he passed away in a car accident about 10 years ago. Phil Sims. Kevin Ross. Jerry Robinson. Guy McIntyre. Mel Gray. Chip Lenheimer. And finally Dennis Smith out of that one. These are just a pain in the behind to open. I got Neil Smith. Joe Montana. Chicago Bears. Collector's Choice card. That's Nate. Dot Bears. Kevin Fagan. Tim McDonald. Clyde Simmons. Pat Swilling. Aikman getting clobbered by Will Marshall. Keith Van Horn. Steve DeBerg. Dennis Bird, Team MVP, and finally, out of this one, Johnny Johnson. Next up, Bobby Brister. Cornelius Bennett. Star rookie Todd Light. Browning Nagel, star rookie. Mark Clayton, once again. Pete Holohan, Lorenzo White. Vince Newsom. Bruce Armstrong. Keith Van Horn. Bart Oates. And finally, Marcus Dupree. Surgically remove the cards almost. So it seems like sometimes Jim Lackey, Nick Ballstar rookie, still no Favre. Aerial threats. Moreno Clayton. Charles Woodson, Collector's Choice. Terrence Mathis. Clarence Verdon. Tim Brown. Morton Anderson. Keith Sims. Alton Montgomery. Freeman McNeil. And finally, Eric Green out of that one. Yeah, these, you know, obviously this is such a pain, but you know what? When it comes to collecting cards, you know, When it comes to deal with collector cards, you know, sometimes you just gotta deal. Tim McDonald, Anthony Munoz, Ron Barrentine, Rod Woodson, Greg Townsend, Team MVP, Keith Van Horn, Nate O'Damo, Sean Jones, John Elliott, Ron Stark, Dennis Gentry, The Bears, Collector's Choice, Eric Metcalf with the Browns, Drac the Pack, Chris Zorich, Star Rookie right on the top, The Bears, Tim Brown, Tim Rothman, Dan Marino, cool card, Ernest Biner, Team MVP, Lionel Stinson, Lemuel Stinson, Jared Gray, Brad Baxter, Rob Moore, Gil Bird, Keith Byers, and Warren Moon. That is a cool looking card too. So nice ones out of that one. That what we got. Craig Hayward, Upper Deck Checklist, Jay Novacek, Barry Sanders, awesome card, Collector's Choice. Johnny Johnson, Team MVP. Mike Munchak, James Lofton, Neil Gray, Steve Wazinski, Merrill Hodge, Wilbur Marshall, and Prime Time with Neon Dion. Operating every single time. Hologram, right on the top. Prime Time. Who is it? It is Bobby Humphrey. Cool looking hologram there. Moving along. Eugene Robinson. Freddie Joe Noonan. Ben Smith. Warren Moon. Again, still an awesome card. Team MVP with Randall Cunningham. Frank Stamms. Fred Barnett. Jim Harbaugh from the Bears. Louis Sharp. Clyde Simmons. Bob Gagg. And Randall Cunningham out of that one. Neil Anderson, Bears Collector's Choice. Carl Zander. Chris Miller. Greg Jackson. Clay Matthews. Jeff George. First one of those we got. Mark Collins. Shannon. Sterling Sharp. Eric Benimi. Vance Johnson. James Thornton. And finally, Fred Stoker's out of that one. Extracting this next one. Vernon Thurman Thomas. Collector's Choice. Ernest Grimes. Not to be confused with Rick Grimes, who went MIA. Bart Oates. Tim Green. Kevin Mack. Vernon Thurman Thomas. Base card. Eric McMillan. Eugene Robinson. Team MVP. Albert Bailey. Jim Harbaugh again. The Bears. And Sam Clancy out of that one. Perry Camp. Dalton Killard. Brian Noble. Herschel Walker. Cool Collector's Choice card. Steve the Berg Team MVP. Mel Gray. Steve Jordan. Mike Horan, Chip Lowmiller, Dan Salamua, Morton Anderson, and John Elway Collector's Choice. So that's a neat one. That's the first one we've gotten of those. Floyd Dixon, Eddie Brown, Brian Blades, Morton Anderson Collector's Choice, Dan Marino Team MVP, Carl Lee, Brent Jones, Carl Banks, Richard Johnson, Steve Tucker, Mike Singletary, the Bears, Collector's Choice, Johnny Johnson. So not a bad pack. Tony Bennett, Dino Hackett, Michael Irvin, Lawrence Taylor, LT. That's a cool looking card. And we got Anthony Miller, Mark Duger, Keith McKellar, Logan Brown, Freeman McNeil, Tim McDonald, Christian Mann, and oh, look at that, a double. LT again. Moving right along, trying to finish this off pretty quickly, but not doing so hot. Jeff George, Collector's Choice. Lorenzo White, Wes Hopkins, Jerry Rice, Flash 80, Jerry Rice, Team MVP, back to back, Jacob Green, Rodney Holman, Carl Lee, Ron Rivera, Louis Lips, Chris Dishman, and Al Toon, Collector's Choice. So, got plenty of Collector's Choices so far. Eric McMillan, Nick Camaro, I can't say that, Val Segalma, Jim Everett from the Rams, Team MVP with John Stevens, Dermontti Dawson, Charles Haley, Everson Wells, Lamar Lathan, Anthony Miller, Terry McDaniel, and Derek Thomas, Kansas City Chiefs. It was fun watching him play. Looks like we got Jeff George on the bottom, Trace Armstrong, Gary Anderson, Brian Hinkle, Bo Jackson, Bo Knows. One of my favorite players, Bo Knows. Pat Swelling, Brad Baxter, Andre Tippett, Ron Heller, Rick Fenney, Keith Jackson, and finally Reggie Roby. So we got that cool little bow from that one. Got about 10 to a dozen of these left. Marcus Dupree, Roy Green, Eric Jones, Andre Tippett, Collector's Choice, Boris Anderson, Team MVP, Chris Dolman, Ronnie Lott, Mark Collins, Jack Del Rio, Albert Lewis, Alan Pinkett, and Troy Aikman, our first Collector's Choice from him. Trying to find that ultimate Joe Montana autograph card. It's a long shot, and I know I got no chance, but it'd be super nice to get that on camera. Wes Hopkins, Mark Bortz, Bobby Brister, Art Monk Collector's Choice, Anthony Carter, team MVP. Man down. Ken O'Brien trying to run away. Roy Agnew. Jerome Brown. Al Noga. Checklist. Ruben Myers. And San Diego Chargers, Anthony Miller. Collector's Choice. I think that's the first one of him we've got. Check this one out. Looks like hologram on top. That's a beaut right there. Next up, we got Aerial Threats. Jim Breach. Rod Woodson. First one of those, Don Majowski. Magic. That is a neat card. Des Bird. Louis Oliver. Vernon Thurman. Eddie Murray. Oddly enough, no Emmett, no Barry. Don Mosbaugh. Billy Ray Smith. I take that back. We did get one Barry Sanders. Tim McGuire and Dan Marino. Just checked, and we're on our final 10, so we got the final countdown going. Can't play the music or else YouTube will get angry and you know, not like that. Eddie Anderson. John Elway. First one of those we got. Hall of Famer, of course. Cleveland Gary. Star Rookie. Mike Creel. Bobby Humphrey, team MVP. Everson Wells. Junior Seau. Finally got him. He was a rookie in 1990. So technically second year card. Lomas Brown. Jesse Hester. Jay Schroeder. First one of him. Harold Green. And finally, Eric Metcalf. Trying to hit that Montana. Not that once again, that ain't gonna happen, but let's see what else we got here. Dexter Carter, Leo Gomez, Paul Farron, star rookie, Russell Maryland, Emmett Smith, team MVP. Finally, first one of them we got. Well, definitely some tough pulls out here. Jerome Brown, Trace Armstrong, Lee Williams, Keith Van Horn, Keith Willis, James Hasty, Billy Joe Tolliver, and Barney Bussey. Still on our final countdown, 1991 Upper Deck card packs. Gary Clark. Perry Kemp, John Tyler, checklist card. Looks like Boomer on there. Is that Boomer? Boomer Esiason. Pretty sure that's him. Warren Moon, Eddie Murray. Oh, I'm guessing not. That's Boomer right there. Like Gash. And now it's. See what we got. Herschel Walker, Alan Montgomery, Brett Davis, and Alvin Walton. Trying to close out this 1991 Upper Deck box. Another hologram. It's the third or fourth one we've gotten from this box. Corner looks a little, maybe like it's a little tweaked, but can't really tell too much. Sure. Through the camera. Art Monk, Anthony Delwig, Ernest Biner, star rookie Mike Dumas, Barry Sanders. First one of these we've gotten out of the box. Ryan Helter, John Roper, Carl Lee, Jeff Gross, Kenneth Davis, Al Baker, and Mark Kelso. This is 5 left. After this one, got Joe Montana. Insert. Roger Craig. Sean Landetta. Percy Snow. Pat Leahy. Mark Duper. Leonard Marshall. Vaughn Johnson. Jeff George. Is that Steve DeBerg? No, that's Vinny Testaverde. Sure is. First one of those we've gotten. Ron Stark. Sean Landetta out of that one. I'm going to close this out. Now you've got a better idea of the 1991 Upper Deck box. Brandon Thompson. In case you're looking to build your collection, find some of your favorite player cards. John Offerdale, Jim Lackey, Troy Aikman, Doug Widow, David Wyman, James Brooks, Chris Dolman, Gary Clark, Tim Harris, Mike Rozier, and once again, Don Majowski. Alright, this is one of 4 of this remaining of the 91 box. Upper Deck Football, of course. Jay Schroeder, Willie Gault, Steve Young. I think that's the only second one we've gotten out of the box. Jeff George, Tommy Hudson, Lee Williams, Tony Stargell, Luis Oliver, Neith Sherman, Derek Feamer, Seth Joyner, and Andre Tippett, Collector's Choice. I think that's the first one of him we've gotten to. Alright, come on, Joe. Howie Long, first one of him we've gotten. John Alt, Johnny Johnson. I think that's the first one of him. Collector's Choice we've gotten. Tony Collins, John Roper, Irvin Randall, Fred Strickland, Monty Coleman, Calvin Martin, Bobby Humphrey, Eddie Anderson, and we have Art Monk once again. And final 2. Of course, the last one's got to give you the hardest times. Kind of like your ex-wives. Alright, Eric Metcalf, James Hasty, Michael Kofer, Cortez Kennedy, Ray Agnew, Kent Hall, Trace Armstrong, Aaron Wallace, star rookie Herman Moore. I think that's a good one. Mike Saxon. And then Bruce Matthews and Eric Badimi. And strangely absent out of this box so far has been Brett Favre. We haven't gotten a single one out of them. So it's kind of surprising. So considering there's 2 in the set. Heath Sherman. Carl Mecklenburg. Pretty sure that's the first time we've seen him. Kevin Ross. Primetime Neon Dion. Second one of those we've gotten. I believe John Williams. Tony Page. Henry Ellard. Ken O'Brien. Hartley Dykes. Ken Harvey. Mark Rippon. and one more Barry Sanders for the road. So there you have it. 36 packs, up 1991 Upper Deck Football. We've got some good inserts. No real autos, no Favre, but we had 3 Barry Sanders, 1 Emmitt Smith. So you kind of got an idea of what's in the box. So, kind of odds and everything else. Every box is different, but this box is great for collectors. It's real affordable, and you kind of get a good mix of cards. So thanks everybody for watching. Click like and subscribe, and we'll, hopefully catch us on the next break. Thanks. Thanks for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for more videos. Listen and download us on SoundCloud. Visit our site at blocksnews.net and xclusivecollectibles.com for articles, news, collectibles, and help with your website, marketing, and SEO needs. Email us